Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Monday, February 9, 2026. Making the headlines tonight, BTL holds off on outstanding severance for 175 former workers. 5 people succumb in separate weekend shootings and RTAs, and BNTU still polling members on possible protests over BTL SpeedNet deal. We take a first break and return with the news in detail.
Clean and maintain your yard the best way with Honda trimmers and lawn mowers. Honda Lawn and Garden Equipment, available at Benquip. Equipment, parts, service.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center.
For 3, visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet and Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. Belize Telemedia Limited, BTL, has not conceded that it must pay an estimated 175 former employees severance in accordance with a November 2025 ruling of the Caribbean Court of Justice. The court ruled that pension cannot subsume severance. BTL had committed to provide a response to the Belize Communication Workers for Justice by Friday, February 6. The board met that day, and BTL later sent a letter to the group in the evening, saying that it must assess all claims in accordance with applicable law and that its review is ongoing. It committed to communicate its final decision in short order. In a public statement issued on Saturday, BTL stated that it is in compliance with the CCJ judgment and applicable law. It reported that payment for all eligible claims, that is, those who fall within the 6-year limitation period prescribed under the Limitation Act, have been processed except for 3 former employees who have not visited the company's office to complete the disbursement. The company additionally informed that its employees were notified after the CCJ ruling that it would continue with existing employer pension contributions to the pension funds and would commence severance accruals for severance payments upon exit as a separate line item. The statement also added that the company's board of directors should be completing its final review at its next sitting, but a date was not provided. Over the weekend, the BCWJ released a song about their cause. 2 men, 24-year-old Luis Barrias and 43-year-old Derek Arnold, were fatally shot in Punta Gorda, Toledo on Saturday night around 8. According to reports, both men were targeted while at Barrias' residence on Queen Street. Police arrived at the scene where they found the unresponsive body of Barrias in the yard, lying face down in blood. He had gunshot injuries to the head. Arnold was rushed to the Punta Gorda hospital with gunshot injuries to the upper chest, thigh, and upper back. Barrias died while receiving treatment at the hospital, while Arnold was declared dead on arrival. ASP Stacy Smith said 3 persons have been detained.
Preliminary operation just next to it and recovered quite a number of drugs in the past as well as firearm. It's a residence that is oftentimes visited by police officers for operations because persons who are suspected to be engaged in nefarious activities are known to frequent there. Of the deceased was in fact a person of interest during the course of the investigation of the Canadian national.
A man was fatally shot in the Riverside area of Dangriga Creek on Friday evening around 6. He has been identified as 34-year-old fisherman Bernaldo
Being pursued and intercepted near the outskirts of Dangriga town. A male person was observed exiting the vehicle and making good his escape in the bushy terrain of that area. The vehicle has since been impounded and the identity of the registered owner has been ascertained. One person whom police believe can assist in this investigation has been detained, and another individual is being sought in connection with this ongoing investigation.
A road traffic accident Friday along the Old Mullins River Road in northern Stan Creek District claimed the life of 28-year-old Jesse Cat Palacios of Mullins River. He was traveling on motorcycle. ASP Stacy Smith shared more details.
The investigation commenced on the aforementioned date and time when police were alerted of the presence of an injured Mr. Palacio on the Mullins River Road. The officers responded, and upon their arrival, they observed Mr. Palacio, who exhibited injuries to the face and body, and on the scene was a scooter which showed signs of damages.
Still in the South, a man was killed on Friday night when he fell off his bicycle and was run over by a vehicle between mile 13 and 14 on the Thomas Vincent Ramos Highway in Maya Center, Stan Creek. The man was identified as 68-year-old Houston Talby Reynolds of Kendall, Stan Creek. According to community members, he was a well-known vegetable vendor in the area. ASP Stacy Smith today revealed that the driver of the vehicle, 44-year-old Juan Leonardo of Duck Run, Cayo, has been served with a notice of intended prosecution.
Initial investigations suggest that Reynolds was riding his bicycle and is reported to have fallen off. And at that time, a truck being driven by Leonardo came, and that resulted in Mr. Reynolds being run over and resulting in his untimely demise. Leonardo remained at the scene and is reported to have fully cooperated with the investigation. I know what has been included in the report is that prior to Mr. Reynolds departing from Maya Center area, he was observed at a bar in the area, I believe.
After the break, Minister Usher says he was unaware SpeedNet provided only 1 year of audited financials to BTL. Stay with us.
Our Belize City is growing because of continued investment. From rehabilitated streets to expanding neighborhoods, significant investments are improving how our city functions and how our communities live. In the last 2 years alone, more than 250 streets have been rehabilitated, representing almost $34 million invested directly in physical infrastructure that improves access and quality of life. At the same time, the city continues to expand. Developments such as the Holy Emmanuel area, also known as Gungulung, reflect increased demand for land and housing as Belize City expands in a more sustainable and resilient way. These planned developments support safer communities and long-term sustainability, contributing to rising property values across the city. Under the Town's Property Evaluation Act, property values are required to be reviewed every 5 years. The last valuation adjustment was done in 2013. This adjustment simply brings property values closer to today's market reality, while the tax rate itself remains unchanged. Let's break it down. For a vacant property valued at $25,000, we charged an annual 2% rate, which works out to a payment of $500. Under the new assessment, the property value has appreciated by 40%, making the ongoing property tax prepayment incentives. Property owners receive 15% off in January, 10% off in February, and 5% in March. And senior citizens receive a 35% discount year-round. Remember, this adjustment represents an appreciation in your property's worth, not a change in tax rates, ensuring continued investment in your city while providing valuable data for informing investors, municipal bondholders, and
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and profitable.
Sir, your item is ready for viewing.
Is that all?
This is everything.
The Belize National Teachers Union, BNTU, is still moving ahead to obtain a mandate from its membership on whether or not they wish to demonstrate regarding BTL's intended acquisition of SpeedNet. This is notwithstanding the announcement Friday in the House of Representatives that the Prime Minister has ordered a pause on the discussions to allow for public consultation and for the SSB board to arrive at a position. After a sensitization session last week, Wednesday, polls were opened on Friday and remain open. Here is BNTU President Nadia Martin-Kaliz.
Last week, we started the education process, and every president received the information sheet that looks at the pros and cons. And then we had the online meeting, again, giving membership the opportunity to ask questions. The polls were open on Friday, and they are still open. And the Council of Management strongly believes that we need to get a mandate from our membership before we can say to the NTUCB that the BNTU membership will engage in any form of industrial action that you call. Yes, on Friday, it was announced in the House that the entire process is on pause. The Council strongly believes that we need that mandate. Whether it's yes, whether it's no, we still need that mandate. And if the mandate is yes, while the consultation process is going on, if it's flawed, we call on you once the NTUCB call on its affiliates to engage. As your president, I'm given the task to remind you that your vote matters. If it's a yes, if it's a no, we will respect it. But the BMTU has a platform called Stand Up for Belize. Teachers got your back. And it's under that platform that we support the actions of the NTUCB. Now, whether we're going to be out there physically is up to you. But we do need answers. As Belizeans, we do need answers. We do need to know that if what they're saying is true.
Have frowned upon.
I think that, I don't know if that's the case. That's something new that I'm hearing now. But certainly it's important, like I said, for everybody to hear all sides of this particular issue.
Sir, but if that required information has not been provided, don't you think that leads to mistrust?
Sometimes you answer your own question, you know, Mary.
So then, yes.
I think what is important is that the information is put out there.
And then Minister Spat says he'd recuse himself, in a sense, from putting out a statement along with the central, the Western Caucus. Would you do the same?
I think it's important that the caucuses meet, that they get an opportunity to ask their questions and to hear the presentation goes out. That's up to the caucus.
Okay, and in relation to all the demonstrations that are happening, do you think the government will heed the call that they're not supporting this? The people is not in support.
I think that it's important, again, for the people to hear all of the issues and not make the misinformation sometimes, or the lack of information sometimes lead persons to come up to.
Different sectors of society are saying that it should be a policy decision, especially because the government owns majority shares in BTL, however.
The people of Belize own majority shares in BTL.
Precisely.
And
so
that's
it
why
should
the
be a
people of
policy
Belize
decision.
have to know the information and they have to be able to make up their minds.
Cabinet Minister Anthony Muller is a former executive of SpeedNet. He himself was not present for the cabinet presentation by Belize Telemedia Limited on the company's intended acquisition of SpeedNet. However, the minister says he has long supported consolidation, but he was asked if SpeedNet is worth the $80 million, which is the publicized price tag in the deal.
I said this many years ago, just being a part of telecoms for a long time, that there has to be consolidation for growth of any company. The technology is coming out, the modernization of infrastructure that's needed, and these things are consistent, they're capital intensive, and so the nature of the business just being focused primarily on data, because all the traditional revenue streams have gone away for the most part. And so traditional voice, traditional SMS, traditional everything else other than data, that's where it is right now in terms of revenue streams. And now how it's done, that's a different thing. I think there should have been much more consultation before. They should have been open with the information being put out. But there are experts to do those things and to put those types of deals. But mergers and acquisitions happen. It's just not a part of our culture here in Belize, but that happens everywhere in the world. Now, I can tell you when I was at SpeedNet, the value of it was like somewhere around 75 million. And so over time, and I've been out of it for about 6 years now, almost. And so the value probably would have gone up a little bit. But just count the number of base stations or sites that they have across the country, multiply it by somewhere, anywhere. If you lowball it to 300,000 per site, which it's more than that. When I was a part of that process, sites could have gotten up to $1 million, depending on the land, badly from day one, and they have to do better.
The United Democratic Party Parliamentary Caucus on Saturday issued a statement expressing their support for the Occupational Safety and Health OSH bill, saying it has been a long time coming. The UDP called the move a step in the right direction. However, it stated that the passage of the bill in its current form is not enough. The UDP expressed concerns which include broad powers granted to inspectors, a reliance on ministerial regulations, a penalty notice system that may encourage fee payments over deterring violations, and the absence of a clear remedy for workers who may be impacted due to violations of the Act. The UDP said the bill should be worker-centered, fair and proportionate, clear and predictable, and focused on compliance and prevention instead of punishment. The statement also notes that the UDP Parliamentary Caucus's boycott of the sitting of the House of Representatives does not negate their support of the bill. The UDP also applauded the efforts of the NTUCB in maintaining pressure to get the bill passed. After the break, Budnet's brother released without charges. Stay tuned.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio. 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m., en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
February is all about Honda. Get special pricing and discounts on all Honda products. And
it is projects like this going to say, why is tourism investing in a community center? And I often say, I'm not investing in a community center, I'm investing in the community, I'm investing in our people.
May this center continue to stand strong as a symbol of community, resilience, and togetherness for many years to come.
On Friday, we reported on the detention of Desmond Tillett, a resident of Belmopan and the older brother of Joseph Budna, who was detained reportedly for an investigation into a cybercrime. On the Ryan Budna Facebook page, it was explained that Tillett was detained because the police believed that he was the one posting on Budna's page. Though we requested formal confirmation from police, none was provided. However, sources confirmed the detention. Tillett was not released until after 10 Friday night after a search at his home. At today's police briefing, ASP Stacy Smith said his detention was part of a lawful investigation.
As it relates to the detention of Mr. Tillett, I will confirm that he was detained and his detention was pursuant to a lawful investigation that was done in the course of an investigation. That is the extent of the information that I will provide because, as I stated, it's an ongoing investigation and maybe Mr. Tillett will be able to provide you guys with further information. I must also add that Mr. Tillett was cooperative during the course of the investigation. An interview was done with him and he was subsequently released.
A woman was injured when her home came under gunfire around 2 this morning in Mahogany Heights, Belize District. According to the initial investigation, 26-year-old Abriana Ramsey was asleep at the time. No other injuries were reported. She's currently in a stable condition. Police are investigating. A woman in San Pedro and Burgers Key has filed a police complaint against a man who casually assaulted her by touching her inappropriately as she worked on the streets Sunday morning just before 6:30. The incident was caught on surveillance video, which is now being widely circulated. There are reports of another similar incident having occurred just days before, and it is believed the same perpetrator may be involved. Police are now seeking the public's assistance to stadium with the other flags of the Americas. Bad Bunny's performance, which included musical appearances by Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin, was centered on celebrating Latin American culture and specifically highlighted his experiences growing up in Puerto Rico, which is U.S. territory. Belize's flag was being carried by Belizean American Nia Davis, who is a backup dancer for Bad Bunny. Following the event, Davis said she was focused on getting the flag front and center to be noticed. Belizeans quickly took to social media to express their excitement at seeing the country's flag on one of the world's biggest stages. After that segment, Bad Bunny gave a shout out to every mainland country in the Americas except for Belize and Suriname, which caused some disappointment. While Bad Bunny's performance, which was entirely in Spanish, ruffled the feathers of some American viewers, it has emerged as one of the most viewed Super Bowl halftime shows. While official viewership numbers have not been released as yet, the halftime show is believed to have been viewed by 128 million, dipping slightly below last year's record-breaking 133.5 million viewers for Kendrick Lamar's performance. Albert Vaughn has formally announced the post of president of the National Institute of Culture and History niche. Vaughn was last the Belize City Council's city administrator, having resigned in October. A niche statement highlights Vaughn's experiences in the arts, stating, quote, "Vaughn brings extensive experience in leadership, cultural advocacy, and public service. His appointment marks a renewed commitment to strengthening the management, promotion, and safeguarding of Belize's vibrant cultural and historical heritage." Niche looks forward to Mr. Vaughn's stewardship as it continues to advance its mandate in collaboration with the people of Belize, end quote. Melilyn Young had been holding over as interim president after Sapna Budrani. And a notable Belizean, Rudy Burgos, has passed away. He passed away this morning after being hospitalized the last few days. He was a conservation educator, but is perhaps most remembered as an internationally recognized bird enthusiast. The Minister of Tourism, Honorable Anthony Muller, called his passing a profound loss to Belize's tourism and conservation community. A statement from his office states, quote, "Rudy dedicated his life to sharing the wonders of Belize's bird life and natural landscapes with the world. Through his work as a guide and his genuine love for nature, he inspired countless visitors and Belizeans to appreciate the beauty and importance of our environment. His contributions played a meaningful role in strengthening Belize's reputation as a premier destination for nature-based and bird-watching experiences," end quote. The message likewise highlighted Burgess's kindness and humility and affirmed that his legacy will live on through the many people he inspired. And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on the station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of the news. And remember, you can always catch up with the day's top stories on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under XTV Belize. And you can watch the evening news live on our XTV BHNI app. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.